Tonight on CTV News at 5.
We stand firmly with Greenland and Denmark and fully support their unique right to determine Greenland's future.
Touchy territory as Trump ramps up demands to take over the Arctic island. Canada takes a stand on Greenland.
We're able to provide that alternative response to people in crisis.
Extending care, 24/7 in-person mental health support comes to Dartmouth.
It's a big check mark on the list to get Northern Lights.
And a dazzling dance of color. The Northern Lights put on a spectacular show.
Just a few flurries around, but dress for colder January weather tonight and tomorrow.
Live from the Maritime's News Center, this is CTV News at 5.
Good evening and welcome to CTV News at 5. I'm Maria Peno-Palace. Thanks for joining us. First at 5 tonight, touchy territory. Ottawa is considering sending a small number of Canadian troops to Greenland to participate in training exercises following the lead of multiple European countries. This, of course, as U.S. President Trump insists he needs the Danish territory for national security. CTV's Hafsa Arif looks at the rising tension and what it could mean for Canada. Hi, Hafsa.
Hey, Maria, a controversial idea once brushed off as a political bluster is now raising alarms for far beyond Washington. U.S. President Donald Trump has openly been talking about annexing Greenland, and Canada is responding.
We have to have it. They have to have this done.
It's a blunt statement about a vast Arctic island, rich in rare minerals, home to just over 50,000 people, and strategically positioned between North America and Europe. Greenland is an autonomous territory of Denmark, which the U.S. now wants.
The mechanics of that would be through a constitutional annexation of making Greenland a territory, which the U.S. Constitution is equipped to do as an expansionist constitution.
While Denmark allows U.S. military presence on the island, the country is adamant its sovereignty is non-negotiable.
Gambit to take control of Greenland's rare earths and minerals, but that benefit would be probably 10, 15, 20 years down the line.
On the ground in Greenland, people are pushing back.
I'm not frightened because I believe in NATO and I believe in Europe.
Trump has also revived talk of annexation closer to home, including remarks about Canada becoming a U.S. state.
That the 11th Airborne Regiment, which is out of Alaska, which is an Arctic patrol, why of all the branches of the military has that branch been activated in Minnesota, just a few hundred miles from the Canadian border.
Those concerns reached the world stage today when Canada's Prime Minister took a clear stand.
We stand firmly with Greenland and Denmark and fully support their unique right to determine Greenland's future.
It's a shift from Ottawa's earlier caution, and according to experts, a signal Canada is preparing for a fallout.
That type of move would trigger a trade war, not only with the European Union, but with Britain and likely with us, would have massive economic repercussions on the United States.
Still, experts say military conflict remains unlikely, but pressure tactics are already reshaping alliances.
You cannot be sovereign by accommodating a bully. You will be sovereign only by not accepting subordination. And I think that's what we're seeing here.
Both experts we spoke to today say the conversations coming out of Washington can't be dismissed, and how Canada responds next could define its role among allies for years to come. Maria?
Thank you, Hafsa. CTV's Hafsa Arif for us in the news center this evening, and that actually brings us to tonight's web poll. We are asking, should Ottawa send troops to Greenland in light of Trump's threats? Your options are 3. Number 1, yes, Canada needs to take a stand. Or number 2, no, it would further damage our relationship with the U.S. And your final option, it's too soon to say. Go to ctvnewsatlantic.ca to weigh in and to see the latest poll results. All right, time to head over to the anchor desk where Todd Battis is standing by with the headlines. Hi there, Todd.
Hi, Maria. Tonight at 6, the impacts of Sunday night's nor'easter continue to be felt today. Tens of thousands of customers still in the dark as power is being reconnected for customers right across Nova Scotia. We will have the latest on the reconnection, how it's going, tonight at 6. There's a domino effect happening inside Fredericton's Chalmers Hospital. Services being moved to make room for much-needed beds so that the ambulance bay can be formally renovated into an extension of the emergency department. But there are concerns, and CTV's Laura Brown will have those for us in your newscast. Snowbanks and ice, not the only hazards on our roads. There they are. The last few weeks of the freeze-thaw cycle have put hundreds of more potholes on streets in all of our cities, including Halifax. Tonight at 6, we'll see how the region's biggest city is responding and how drivers are managing to avoid them. Kayla Mitchell in the Weather Center with our first look at the forecast today. And well, we've had the thaw, we're about to get the freeze, and that's only going to make matters worse.
Yeah, I was about to say we're kind of already in part of the freeze in around the Maritime region. Seasonably cold today. Checking in on temperatures right now for the province of Nova Scotia. They're mostly sitting in the range of around -1 to -6. Coldest up in Cumberland and Colchester counties near Amherst right now, close to -6. -5, -6 right now for Charlottetown and Summerside and Prince Edward Island. Similar range in temperatures across the south of New Brunswick, but it's colder already for northern and northwestern areas, New Brunswick, with some temperatures now sitting between -8 and -13. Taking a look at winds around the region, they're out of the west. They're being sustained between around 15 and 30 kilometers per hour. It has been a bit of a blustery day. It continues that way into this evening, with some peak wind gusts still between 30 and 50, except as high as 60. For some weather stations that are right on some coastal areas, including the one at North Cape and western Prince Edward Island, reporting a gust right now at 63 kilometers per hour. The wind gust will be diminishing as we make our way towards midnight. The wind chill will still be a factor tonight and for tomorrow. Taking a look at things on radar and satellite, we're looking at just a few clouds around locations in New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Partly cloudy for Nova Scotia, with still some areas of flurries. And that province will have a further chance of some scattered flurries as we make our way through tonight. Temperatures cold tonight for the Maritimes and for tomorrow, though we should see some sunshine on Wednesday. And I'll have more on the forecast coming up later on. Maria.
Thank you very much, Kaylin. Right now, there's a new warning about cash transactions, especially big ones. As CTV's Pat Foran reports, police forces right across the country are getting reports of fake $100 bills being circulated.
Trailers Ontario has 4 locations in the province selling cargo trailers for various applications. A customer recently bought one at their Mississauga site and paid for it in part with counterfeit money.
When did you find out that the cash was counterfeit?
First thing Monday morning.
Owner Nadir Virgie says the customer wanted to pay for the trailer in cash.
A customer came to us last week, purchased a trailer for $12,200, and he ended up slipping in $6,200 in counterfeit money.
Frustrated he'd been scammed out of $6,200, Virgie called Peel Police. They're continuing to investigate, but the man who handed over the cash was not arrested. As he said, he got the fake $100 bills from someone else when he sold a trailer.
The police told me that it is a civil matter since he paid half in legitimate currency and half in fake currency.
To avoid counterfeit money scams, avoid large cash transactions if possible. If a cash payment is required, complete the transaction at a financial institution. Do not accept money you believe may be counterfeit, and do not attempt to use counterfeit currency as it's a criminal offense.
They seem to be a bit on the rise right now, especially with, as is always the case, the larger denominations, the $100 bills.
Toronto police say they've noticed a huge increase in fake bills since the beginning of the year.
We've already seen almost $50,000 in counterfeit money that's been turned in and that's been reported to us.
Feel, look, and flip.
For more information on spotting counterfeit notes, you can check the Bank of Canada's website.
Tilt the note to make sure the metallic portrait and building change colors.
As for Virgie, he's frustrated he may have to go to small claims court to get his money back. He says his company is now taking more steps to try and spot counterfeit currency.
We did purchase money counters right now for all our locations, and I've told my entire team to double check every bill.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Thank you, Pat. That's some news you can use. All right, time for a break. Stay with us when we come back. A valuable service expands their hours.
Hi, I'm McConvey here in Dartmouth with the Souls Harbor team that operates a crisis assistance response service. Since launching in October, they're now expanding their services. I'll have more on why this expansion was necessary coming up.
Welcome back. We've got a sweet story now of a young singer who likes to rehearse while she walks her dog. CTV's Adam Sawatsky with more on their canine collaboration.
Paw? Thank you.
Ruth with the paws.
Good girl.
And Delilah with the treats.
Good girl.
Are more than just pup and person.
She's my best friend. I love her.
Ruth is also the sort of friend who, no matter the weather, no matter the mood,
Sometimes I'm tired and I just don't really feel like doing it.
encourages Delilah to get out and pursue her passion.
I feel like within like the first 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, this is my favorite thing. So I like doing it.
Because although this begins like any ordinary dog walk,
I need to give her a little attention before I can lock in with the singing.
it evolves into an extraordinary vocal workout. While Delilah Fabiola is a singer who's working on her own album after recording vocals for her friends, Ruth plays multiple roles.
She just inspires me to be the best version of myself.
Now she's a canine coach, walking up to 3 hours a day to push her person to keep improving her performance.
Every day.
Every day?
Every single day, yeah.
Ruth can also be a cheerleader, wagging her tail when Delilah hits all the right notes.
I've played songs that I've made, and I've seen her kind of look at like the speaker and look at me, and it's cute.
On the other hand, whenever life feels out of tune, Ruth is a consistent and cuddly confidant.
I love her. She's my baby.
While other creative collaborators, from Lennon and McCartney to Sonny and Cher, may be better known, you can bet that Delilah Fabiola and Ruth will never stop making meaningful music together.
Because she's the greatest love of my life, I think.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
A very sweet story. Thank you very much for that, Adam. Caitlin Mitchell joins us now. That was Vancouver. They're still seeing the grass there.
Yeah, it's kind of covered up now in the Maritimes, isn't it? And we have some, well, I guess typically cold January weather in the forecast for the next couple of days. And then we're going to dive into a bit of a deep freeze coming up at the end of this week. Nice to see some sunshine, though. We're looking out at Sullivan's Pond in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. And I'll have more in the weather forecast after the break.
Welcome back. Caitlin Mitchell joins us once again. You've been keeping a close eye on how things are shaping up out there. And I understand maybe an extra log on the fire tonight, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we've got this typical January cold that's sort of settled into place around the Maritimes. And temperatures will get a slight bump up on Thursday, but then we take a deep dive into what I would describe as some bitterly cold conditions or some frigid conditions for the upcoming weekend. Taking a look out here at a little bit of blue sky peeking through around the Fredericton area for today as we look at our sunrise and sunset times for the provincial capitals. Now, barometric pressure at the moment around the Maritime region is about middle of the road, sitting between 1,000 and 1,020 millibars there for all three Maritime provinces. There is still a low pressure system that is centered over Labrador. It's pushed a weather front across Newfoundland. In behind it, we've had colder air move back into place as the wind direction being out of the west and the northwest has been favorable to bring in some colder air out of Quebec. There's an area of high pressure that's centered down around the eastern seaboard of the United States. We'll get underneath a little bit of a ridge from that high pressure system coming up for tomorrow, which means our overall weather conditions are on the calmer side. The temperatures are going to be cold. Now, we do have some areas of flurries still making their way across parts of Nova Scotia this evening. Most widespread at the moment around parts of the Annapolis Valley from Middleton up towards Kentville. Just looking at things here on radar, there's maybe the possibility of a couple centimeters of accumulation here in this band of flurries before it winds down. Additionally, we've got one that's sort of off the minus basin in the Truro area and around some flurries and some snow showers just clearing out of Cape Breton now. And it is Nova Scotia that continues to have a chance of flurries as we make our way through tonight. We're looking at clear conditions. Cold, though, for both New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. And then in the forecast for Wednesday, once again in a west and southwest wind, the chance of flurries in the Maritimes is going to be highest for Nova Scotia, where those winds are sort of blowing in onshore off of ocean waters. So that would include parts of the west of Nova Scotia, in around the Minas Basin, the North Shore, and locations in Cape Breton, becoming a mix of sun and cloud through the day for both New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Here's a look at the wind forecast. Now, it's blustery out there this evening. You'll notice that if you step outside. The wind gusts themselves, though, will diminish a little bit as we make our way towards midnight. The wind chill is still going to be a factor tonight, making many parts of the Maritimes feel well down to the minus teens. In the case of New Brunswick, into the minus 20s as we head towards our overnight lows. Winds in the forecast for tomorrow around the Maritimes, initially out of the west, becoming a little bit more out of the southwest throughout the day, and they'll be sustained in a lot of cases between 20 and 30 kilometers per hour, with a few occasional gusts between 30 and 40, except up to 50 around exposed areas of the coastlines. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight will be coldest in the northern half of New Brunswick, falling between minus 14 and minus 18. In the southern part of that province, most of the low temperatures tonight between minus 13 and minus 16. Down around minus 13 for Charlottetown and Summerside and Prince Edward Island for tonight. And most of the low temperatures for Nova Scotia, minus 8 to minus 12, except minus 6 to minus 8 on parts of the coast. Here's a look at the high temperatures in the forecast for Wednesday for New Brunswick. Most of the highs between minus 5 and minus 9, minus 4 at Grand Manan. Remains several degrees below the freezing mark for Charlottetown and Prince Edward Island throughout the day. And for Nova Scotia, most of the high temperatures between minus 2 and minus 6, though in Cape Breton, highs between minus 5 and minus 8, including minus 8 for Sydney. All right, let's take a look at our weather watcher for tonight. And tonight's weather watcher is coming in from Callie Butler, 7 years old, from Antigonish, Nova Scotia. Callie has sent us a drawing of playing with a friend out in the rain. Thank you. And weather watchers can come in anytime to CTV Weather Watchers, P.O. Box 1653, Halifax, Nova Scotia, B3J2Z4, or email kaylin.mitchell@bellmedia.ca. Maria.
Thank you, Kaylin. So HRM launched a crisis assistance and response service this fall, and it's already expanding to all day, every day. CTV's Emma Convey spoke with the team on the front line.
And then we have some first aid supplies, so gloves, bandages, hand warmers.
Packed and prepared to respond to crisis calls within the Halifax area.
We can do suicidal ideation. We can do if someone's under the influence and is just walking the streets. If someone is yelling distress about anything, we can go and make sure they're okay.
Danielle Firth is a crisis diversion worker with the CARE team. After joining, it was weeks of trauma, mental health, and sensitivity training. CARE, or Crisis Assistance and Response, launched in October. It provides in-person support to those in non-emergent and non-violent crises.
It's an alternative response to police response. And through studies with the city, they've determined that not every crisis call needs a police response.
It starts with a call to 211. From food to shelter to mental health support, these workers arrive with survival resources and compassion.
If the call taker determines that, hey, we cannot provide all of the supports and resources needed to end a person's crisis, we then get dispatched by 211. And then we're wheels in motion, and we're going to show up with our team and provide supports.
The plan was always to operate around the clock, and this week they made the jump to 24/7 support.
It's available within a geographical area. That's most within the Circumferential Highway, Cole Harbour, and Woodlawn. And now it is available 24/7. So the goal is to ensure that everyone is satisfied with the service.
Souls Harbour is currently the only operator for CARE. The pilot's success will determine next steps.
The pilots will be evaluated, and the decision will be made by council as to maybe expansion of the geographical area.
The free service is available to both those experiencing or witnessing a crisis. Emma Convey, CTV News, Dartmouth.
Thank you, Emma. Time for our final break here on CTV News at 5. Stay with us. When we come back, nature turns on the lights in this story.
I'm Ryan McDonald at Myra Gut Beach, where Lana Del Rey and Taylor Swift would be happy to know that there is snow on the beach. And last night you could search for Aurora Borealis and find it. And it was far from the only place around here where you could spot the northern lights. We'll show you more in the story that's coming up.
With Aaron and Peter. Congratulations to our first Passport to Paradise winner, Stephanie Fisher. 29 more trips to be won.
We've got a trip with your name on it. Pick up your first passport tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
Welcome back. The Northern Lights were on display in the night sky over the Maritimes again last night. And down here on the ground, spectacular photos are being shared on social media. CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us what people came up with when they chased Aurora Borealis.
Whether they were out in the woods or in the middle of a suburban neighborhood, people in all three maritime provinces looked up into the night sky last night and saw a bright show.
From home, I've seen some pink glow in the sky, and that indicated that, yeah, we were onto something fairly early in the evening.
Chris Tinsky is an experienced nature photographer in Cape Breton. He and another professional photographer decided to go somewhere dark to try and capture last night's Aurora Borealis at its best.
It's a big check mark on the list to get Northern Lights. They react differently every time. There's different colors.
On social media, the photos came in fast and furious from many different corners of the region. Tinsky says while it helps to have some idea what you're doing, you don't need to own an expensive camera to enjoy nature's beauty like this.
Nowadays, with cell phone technology, you can kind of point your phone, do a 3 to 10 second exposure on your phone, and that light should show up on your phone and gives you a great idea where to look.
Back at my home in Sydney last night, I opened the door and looked up into the black winter night sky and have to admit I didn't spot much of anything. But on social media, people who lived about 10 minutes away were posting some pretty impressive pictures.
So this was the strongest geomagnetic storm since Halloween 2003.
We asked meteorologist Caleb Mitchell why we have been seeing the Northern Lights more often in the Maritimes in recent years.
We are currently in a period where the sun is more active, and we're seeing more of these coronal mass ejections, which increases our chances.
As for people like myself who didn't see them,
you want to make sure you get away from any city or town lights, get to someplace dark, get to someplace where you have as open a view of the northern horizon as possible. You got to have patience. You got to be a little lucky as well.
With any luck, the night sky might light up like this once again before too long. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
And if you don't have that luck, you can just watch our story or go to the photo gallery on our website, because there are so many absolutely magnificent photos on there.
I was glad that the Aurora chasers in our region did get to see a bit of a show yesterday. I was concerned because we had a lot of cloud cover in the region, and that cloud cover doesn't help. Of course, a lot of times they show up really well in photography, especially if you know how to take it.
Add some drama.
That's right, exactly. Chances of it tonight in the Maritimes, not as high as last night. So kind of look towards the lower side. But I'll talk more about that and more on the forecast coming up at 6.
We'll see you and Todd at 6. I'll see you tomorrow. The national news is next. Good night.